As for episode 66, we began the episode with kind of a doozy. I wanted to throw something at you guys where it's going to split your attention. And I think I succeeded.
Well, you did fail in one regard. His opportunity was right there, ripe for the picking, and you just let it fall to the wayside.
What's that?
Executor the 66.
Ah, oh, damn it. We just finished watching Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was just it. I'm sitting here like, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? He didn't do it.
Oh, well, we did it now.
Off camera, we'll talk about Obi-Wan because I have statements, but yes, that would have been great.
So I'll break it down what all of you had sort of this task to do. First of all, Savannah was kind of in the meat of things, dealing with both Oliver as well as a couple of Genesis members and these monsters that were coming out, and trying to save evidence as it was being burnt away. At the same time, Vera was having to deal with the fact that these torches were siphoning off her daylight and radiant energy, as well as handling whatever monstrosities were coming out of the holes as well. And Rolly were dealing with the same monsters, but also having to babysit the post office workers. A lot of things were happening at the same time, so it was not like you guys get to work with each other like you usually do, which was sort of interesting.
That was so much pain.
Hey, it's one of those things where like she was the only responsible one. We talked about it last time that she was the only responsible one. She was not going to let her friend die.
Which I get.
No, it's not that.
I get that.
Yeah, it's not that. I'm happy she did what she did. I'm sad I couldn't do more. But, a guy, two dudes just spawn in out of thin air, and a guy you were just talking to is, like, wrestling one in and tells you to get out. Y'all just sit there and lollygag like... Come on, dude!
Wasn't she helping her friend?
I was being her. She was dragging her body.
That was her excuse. The other ones were like...
Well, the goth kids ran quick.
Yeah.
Good! Why couldn't y'all be like the goth kids? Run! Instead, we got the, you're killing my buzz, man.
Yeah, and
see, that's what you get!
That makes it accurate. It's just like,
That's what you get.
I definitely saw that your ability to push and then ignore that rush to get into their space, that was really smart. I was like, oh shit, he can just ignore that.
I'm sad I wasn't able to take advantage of it. I think that would have helped the situation. But I mean, it worked out fine. My concern was with the kid that already took some hits, and I'm sitting here like, why didn't you just listen to me? Why?
So I marked that each NPC had about 10 HP and had a 10 AC, so they were basically squishy. He took 8 points and got the poison condition. Poison condition doesn't mean you continuously take damage. It just means you have everything disadvantage.
It means you're sick.
Yeah, it means you're sick. He's gonna probably be in bed for a bit.
Yeah, and I tried my best. As soon as I saw, I was like, all right. The moment that they spawned in, the first thought I had was, how do I help them get out? Mm-hmm. And you had the one guy off in the corner over there. Okay, he's not a concern. The door's right here. There's a guy right next to the door. Cool. Get that guy, grapple him so he can't do anything to them, and then they make their escape, and I just make quick work of them. No, there
were two of them. There were two of these creatures.
Well, it was not even the creatures. It was the one guy that's just like, you're killing my buzz, man. Well, guess what's killing you now, buddy?
He was basically on the wrong end of the room, but that was the whole point of the challenge, was to see what you were going to do. No one died.
Luckily.
I mean, one almost came close.
One was 2 HP away. He's basically bleeding out right now. While that was all going on with Rolly trying to keep wrangling these guys together, the post office workers, I wanted to... For Vera, it was interesting because I was thinking about it for a long time, and I was like, definitely the Blakes, they ran into you once, and the last thing they said to you guys was like, if you break our toys, we're going to break yours.
Yeah.
And these guys are smart. They're experimenting, fusing monsters, creating new abominations, setting up, bases, and I'm like, these guys are smart. So obviously they know what you're all about. And so it was only a matter of time of just watching Vera from afar, watching the group from afar, seeing what they do best, and finding a counteractive to it. And it was also very helpful because you couldn't do radiant damage to him, meaning that he was able to regen.
Heal. Yeah.
You know what really made matters worse? And why I was so frustrated with the people, the workers in the front? If they had left quickly, I could have dispatched the two much faster, and I could have had a more active role in that second battle. Maybe possibly stopped Oliver from leaving early. Maybe.
Yeah.
Obviously, we all know that what was going to happen was going to happen. Broly's does not work well with charms. Well, technically, he actually does, depending on the context you approach it as. I mean, the person casting the charm, it's really good.
So while that was
Sorry,
happening,
Vera.
yeah, Vera was. We'll get to that in a second. But then, so that was happening with Vera, having to deal with sort of your magic wasn't being taken away. It was just the context of radiant and light, like daylight.
That's why she was like testing it. And once you did it like to the shield on that one, I was like, no.
Yeah. That was sort of the surprise I had for Vera. Where I was like, she's going to try to use her shield. It's not going to work. Basically, these things are draining daylight and radiancy. And then Savannah was in a whole clusterfuck.
Fuck around, find out. We sure found out.
It kind of sounded like to me that Savannah already knew the assignment. Like I wasn't sure what you were going to do because you had to deal with Oliver. You had to deal with these Genesis members and these monsters and the burning evidence. I was like, what is she going to do?
The assignment changed like 3 different times. Because first it was just like, get the Blake. Oh no, there's a lot of monsters. I was surrounded, and then I'm like, oh wait, evidence, that's the important thing. That's why I'm like, screw this, that's going to be the priority, and I could funnel them into the trailer, so we're going to go with that idea. So that's kind of where I went with that.
It kind of worked out. I didn't think about, I mean, obviously I just make these maps and see what you guys do with it. I forgot that you can just essentially funnel people in. Which kind of worked in your, because you were a one-man army at that point.
Yeah, at that point my idea was just like, I need to just stop the evidence being destroyed, and then once that happened, I can just kind of deal with the rest. Kind of traditional Savannah of, I will deal with this mess later. So
I think I'll also say that because of you guys having a better AC all around, really, I forgot about, and like, these guys were not rolling well, and I was not hitting your AC a bunch of times.
Yeah, that helped.
Damn, I forgot about that.
I was just laughing because I was picturing Savannah from the last time going like Oliver turning around and then her going, oh shit, and 2 little cat ears going ding. Like, gotta go.
She's like, oh shit, invisible.
Well,
Gotta go.
I will be very honest. I forgot about the black orb that held the.
She did, and she kept bringing it up. I'm surprised you forgot.
I forgot. It's been a week.
The funny thing is, I forgot, and then that remember I was saying I had an epiphany in the middle of the week. Yeah, I had an epiphany in the middle of the week, so I wrote a note. I'm like, do not forget.
Oh my god. I forgot, because I was like, initially when I was making this encounter, I was thinking about Savannah a lot. And I was like, she's alone. They're going to block the entrance. They're going to try to snuff her out. And eventually they're going to find her, and she's going to be all alone. The best, in my head, I was like, the best thing she can probably do is probably scream, and hopefully Vera hears. And I'm like, shit, the black orb. It has him sending.
I mean, if she was in there long enough, I don't think Vera contested that as being in there long enough, like, to snoop around. Like, I would have went in after her eventually. Because I thought she was just, like, looking through shit. I wasn't going to go in there and be loud.
There was an original plan of I was going to send a firebolt out the fake window and hope it hits something and hope Vera sees that. That was the original plan. So...
I also wanted a quick moment. It was faster than 6 seconds in a normal turn because they were all going to react. Because it's not like you got a sneak attack. It was just like they all were like, she's there. You were like, shit, they see me. And in that split moment, things were happening all at once.
Things were happening.
Yeah.
What was happening?
Rest in peace, that shop owner who turned
Yeah.
into beef jerky, essentially.
That's our. I mean, I just thought about that. Isn't he technically evidence too? Because it's all like, well, he should be here.
Well, I don't
Oh,
know
yeah,
if the
yeah.
body burned up or they just took it in as evidence. Because I'm like, I wasn't gonna. You take care of the dead guy. That's not no.
It wasn't until you met with Whitbottom, Lambert, that those two were not connected. Because from an outside view, they were like, something's happening at the post office. You have this drawing, you have, the accounts of what happened here. Sure, you're saying it's the Blakes, but we don't have any evidence for it. And it wasn't until you talked to Mr. Whitbottom and he was like, yes, the mailman, him. And now they're finally connected. So now they're more than likely grab the body.
I'm just gonna laugh because I'm like, could you imagine Oliver Blake in like a USPS laugh?
A little mini shorts, brown shorts.
Yeah, I was picturing him with little shorts
The-
and a little hat.
The UPS is the shorts and the brown the button down. It's just
Uh-huh.
like, huh.
I'm like, undead vampire. Here's your package. Okay.
And I want to ask you that. Well, actually, before we get to Whitbottom, because that was the second thing that happened today. Did it force Vera to carefully select your what spells you were going to use during that fight?
During the fight, no. I generally at least have one type of holy spell. I didn't actually have too many radiant prepared. I normally have one higher level and then like guiding bolt always prepped because it's an easy shot for distance. For the interview is mainly Zone of Truth, and I generally always have greater restoration because I don't know, we like to get fucked in the A all the damn time. So, and I didn't think lesser restoration was gonna work on him because I didn't know how heavy of the spell to like modify his memory or whatever was done to him would work.
Okay. So in the fight, because I was like, I've never seen you use Blade Wall or whatever that was.
Oh, I just switched out my 6th level. I was like, I'm just gonna do damage.
So you had that prepared in the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, weird. That worked out.
Because I was like, I think that what it was like word of recall in that slot, but I didn't want to use word of recall. And
I
then
guess you weren't coming. You weren't going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. It's in a way to get out, but I mean, I didn't think about it like for this because we were just going to the post office, and I didn't have it prepped the last time, so it was like, wasn't thinking, oh, the mailman's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Isn't this like the second time like we've gone somewhere? It's like, oh, this is just gonna be a simple thing. Nope.
I mean, yeah, I wanted to. Today was supposed to be sort of a mixture of things. So technically, the whole day that you guys did was getting the evidence in the morning, going to the what was it? The Cauldron and Claw.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of still in the early in the morning, headed towards midday. Investigating Dallas, excuse me. And then heading to the post office. All that happened in a day, technically. So it was less more like these were small things of happening. Now here's the big fight. Speaking of which, for Rolly, I think this is the second time you've been charmed by a vampire.
I seem to be all the rage now.
Yeah. And it definitely was pretty deadly because now you were able to use a couple of that fighter instincts to really do some damage.
Like I said, Will Rolly's not good with charms.
I'm really curious. He did like 50, 40 something odd damage to Vera. How down were you?
22 hit points. But that's more because of Ollie than Rolly, to be honest. Because she was like not touched up until Ollie started hitting her. That's why she was pretty good. That's why I was like, I don't think he'll kill me, but we'll see how long this goes
I think
out
we
for.
got lucky on that because Rolly decided to also attack other things, but
Yeah.
a full-fledged Rolly attack might have took you out.
See, the key thing here is that you said that it was a charm spell. You did confuse me a little bit by saying like dominate person, but that's why I asked for clarification. I was like, okay, it's a charm, so that means like I know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I have no choice but to do it, but I still regain, like, I still have my will, I still have, my senses and everything. So it's going to dictate how I carry things out. First things first, I've been issued a command. There's a monster in front of me. Well, it's blocking my path. No longer blocking my path. Okay, now I proceed forward. So the question I had was, if it had been a dominate person thing, that invisible creature thing we were talking about that bumped into me, like, if I was under dominate person, I wouldn't have cared. I would have just gone straight for Vera. But because it was a charm, it's stopping me. It's probably something trying to get me to stop attacking Vera. It's in my way. Deal with it.
You also rolled a natural 20, so technically if you didn't, it would have been less damage.
Yeah. That I couldn't help that. I'm sorry. Yeah, it just happened.
Well, anyways, I think it was a good display of what Rolly's new multi-classing could do to a person. So it was kind of hard. I was like, damn, that's a lot of attacks. I forgot. Yeah, and the way that the vampire charm thing is that it calls it charm, but it also says like it obeys your rule, like your
morality.
No, it obeys your request like to a T. So it's a little bit like dominate person. It's like I have to do this, but it doesn't say anything in terms of you being dominated. Which when you were arguing like, hey, I still have my faculties, and I go, yeah, you would have your faculties because it's not like a dominate. It's not a spell. It's an ability. So I thought it worked out.
Yeah, so that's why it was the clarification. Like, okay, when you said charm, I'm like, okay, we could probably do this. Dominate person, I probably would have just plowed right through that guy that was stopping me, and just went straight for Vera and just unleashed all 4 attacks on Vera.
Yeah. I think if he was more specific, I think maybe then you would have taken it's like focus on them, attack them only. But he didn't say that. I also wanted to make the brother have a bit of a complex.
That ego.
Yeah.
That ego.
He wants to find himself to be the most smart one between him and his sister. And I mean, not to say that he doesn't have intelligence. He knew your guys' weakness. Or at least of like Vera, like what to prevent him, like what prevents him from healing and from dying. Well, sunlight and radiant. So cut that out.
I'm literally meant to kill vampires. That's what she does.
Vera, vampire hunter.
She's like, her abilities are like light and holy weapons. It's like, yeah. I mean, she doesn't use those all the time, but like she has access to them. So it's like, yeah.
The only thing Vera is missing to make the full package is a sword.
Yeah.
I have a sword.
Then we could call her Blade.
So after fighting with the Ollie Blake, clearing out because also calling the fact that you called Daryl, I was like, oh shit.
I was like, that's worth a burnt spell to me. So
I was like, that's gonna make the second half of this fight easier. So that happened. Daryl definitely. The funny thing about Daryl is that he's definitely enamored with you guys. He's heard stories of the 3 Griffins. He knows what you guys have done. The fact that you're like business people too, it's like, oh, we also hold this bar. He's like, fuck, that's awesome. I wouldn't own a bar. So he's definitely like, these guys are great. You might get arrested. Sorry. But you're good people, at least to me. So he's that type of person. Just sort of enjoying your guys' company. And the moment he heard Vera's call for help, he's like, yes, of course, here we go.
And he got like a little taste of what it is to be just a little taste of what it is to be the 3 Griffins in the bag.
It's funny because Daryl was not supposed to be any type of important NPC. I'll be very honest with you. He was the guy who just was like, here, look at the stuff. All right, I'm taking the stuff and I'm going. And you're like, why don't you hang out? You want some coffee? And he's like, of course I do. Holy shit, are you kidding me?
Well, I mean, Vera's whole thing was like, to her and Rolly, we're in a kingdom that we don't necessarily belong to. But I mean, even if we remove that, it's like, we're so closely connected to the people that are getting tried for this. Like, you would want strategically somebody else that isn't like so close to them that can actually speak to the crown and be like, yeah, I did see what, you know, they saw or what they collected or whatever, just so it's not like, well, how do we believe only you three when you're like obviously don't want your friends in jail.
So the second half of the stream, you guys talked to Lambert Whitbottom, sort of this gnomish, kind of a busybody, a little bit like the neighborhood watch guy, just sort of sits outside probably and has some weird friends and is a leathersmith to just keep the bills up. And then I kind of knew, for some reason I knew Amber was going to get it right away because we've seen shows and they got it right away of a modified memory.
But we also talked about it though, because we were like, what if they change something about him to like say something else? So that's why I had initially prepped Zone of Truth, because we thought, oh, like maybe he's just forced to tell a lie.
Modified memory works in the following way. It lets you change the memory of an individual for 10 minutes, a 10-minute part of their life within a year's time. So they can go back like a few months and change a 10-minute conversation or action, and they remember it that way. And the only way to get rid of it is a Greater Restoration.
Well, I didn't know if you actually did that spell. Because I mean, they're into Smith spells and shit. So I was like, I'm assuming you did something to his mind. I just kept calling it Modify Memory because I know that's what can do it. But I'm like, I mean, as many hacked things as the Blakes do, I wouldn't surprise me if they did some weird mix to him.
The really funny, he was Modified Memory. The really funny thing is that obviously I wanted Oliver Blake to be a bit eccentric, like he's the smart one. He proclaims he's a smart one. So obviously, any smart person who thinks they're smart goes,
shit.
I'm gonna go 7 layers deep, and that'll really fuck him up. There's gonna be a witness, a false witness. There's gonna be evidence I'm gonna plant. There's gonna be a vial sent to another person that I blackmailed, and it was like, dude, you're just leaving clues this entire time.
We've also been dealing with him the whole time. I was like, the people you fucked over, like, also know your shit just as much as you know our shit. As we've had to be dealing with you this whole fucking time.
But the trial's next, guys. So we're definitely going to see, you know, the Books and Brew crew talking to the upper echelon of important figureheads of the domain. The Queen's gonna be, you know, like we're basically gonna have a full-on trial to see how you can convince people that these 3 individuals are not, not the ones who committed the crime.
I think we have a good amount of evidence, though, at this point.
Yeah.
Not guilty.
I mean, it helps that we also have Igno that, like, vouched and he's freaking chosen. I was like, yay, one of your people also said... It's not just us.
Not guilty.
I think I can give this to you guys. I don't think Igno's gonna be there because he's not directly connected.
No, but I mean, we did have him write out like what he found in the vial.
True. There's notes that given, to Daryl for that.
And then if they bring in Dallas, I was like, listen, Vera didn't want that guy to die. Like, she understands he probably didn't do the best thing, and that's how he got his ass blackmailed. But she's like, if you're going to be a worm about it, I'm going to drag your ass back in here.
But we have his ledger.
Yeah, so you're going to get told on whether you like it or not. So you took the cowardly route as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it's funny because you were like, stay here and help or run. He's like, I'm not going to stay here at all.
Well, I said maybe redeem yourself a little bit.
She did. We were there.
Hell no, he's not going to do that. He's going to fuck off.
Yeah. Well,
and now he's going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Not gonna get it.
I'm like, you're not dead, but I mean, they may try you for some other shit and you be behind bars now anyway, so...
I mean, he did just almost have his life threatened to do it in the first place. Now he has to deal with the jail consequences of that, but jail consequences, life.
Yeah. Fuck around, find out.
Yep.
He's not, I mean, he did commit, like, I called it, like, mass...
fraud.
Huh?
Fraud.
Mass transmutation fraud.
Well, I mean, like the thing he wanted to avoid, which was prison time or being told on, it's gonna happen anyway. Because...
I mean, we could ask them to be lenient. I don't know.
That's probably gonna be like, you know, when an actual court case, like they find like another set of wrongdoings, more than likely that's gonna be a separate court case. Because it's like, we're trialing for this particular subject. We'll get to that in like next week. Like in actual court, that's how it works. Because it's like, he also ran a red light and killed a person with a hit and run. In addition to robbing a thing, it's like, okay, we just found out about that. That's next. We got to settle this one first.
That is we'll deal with the rest of that.
And other heinous crimes.
Another heinous
This
crime.
is why when you get a good lawyer, the good lawyer is like, yeah, we know that looks kind of bad, but why don't we put behind them and we'll do this type of sentence instead of multiple sentences.
Oh, yeah. He's probably not going to get any leniency. We'll see. We'll see how things go, obviously. We don't know what's going to be said.
Fear is like, all for being fair that, yes, he did this against his will. But, like, when we told him what he technically did and he still fucking ran, she's like, I don't know how much leniency I'm going to vocalize towards this dude.
And his defense ran from what? He knew that was the guy who threatened him and we're about to go face him. Would you want to face him?
No, she's talking about, like, did you even know that what you made killed a fucking general? Like, I was like, you got a bigger problem than fraud.
We'll see. He doesn't know. I'm going to actually roll a dice for you guys real quick. And Amber, you can always check if you want. I'm going to see if, because he's going to run and hide. So I'm going to roll a stealth check just to see how well he hides. He only has a +2 to stealth.
What?
The face.
Natural one.
Ooh. So he never left the premises and they caught him right there.
Yeah, he jumped into a dumpster and they were like, "We see you." Shit.
I mean, you could always give her a day because I don't think I have it prepped for like locate person.
Oh no, he got captured.
I mean, with the that one, he was just there.
Yeah.
Be like, this is a few things on you. One, you ran, you didn't even fucking hide well enough.
Goes into the whole, how did you earn your spot in this, prestigious, smart people's secret society thing?
Very much the case of the I'm book smart, not street smart. Like,
no
not common sense.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is going to be it for short rest. By the time this goes up, we'll be ready for episode 67. Getting close to the end of this arc, and then you guys get to level up.
Yay.
Yay!
Yeah. All right. Bye, everyone.
Execute Order 66!
Now.
And roll those hit dice.